Hello, this is Silver Bullet 99, and this is the sort of condensed version of how to play Hostage Negotiator. I did a quick video earlier of me actually playing and learning the rules of the game. I believe I got everything right, but this is going to be a quick version of how to set it up, how to play, just to go through it. A Hostage Negotiator is a solitaire game. It's sort of a card game with dice. And you play it alone. You play it with yourself. You're basically a hostage negotiator trying to negotiate to save hostages. If it's your first time playing, the game recommends that you play against Arcane Masua, the abductors. You have three abductors basically. You have Donna Scarborough, Edward Quinn, or Arcane Masua. You can either choose them randomly or just choose one that you feel like playing against. They each have sort of different demands and escape demands, but we're going to pretend like you're playing for the first time, and we're going to go with what they suggested. So you're going to play with Arcane Masua. So you're going to take the second in command card, and this would happen no matter what abductor you play, and put it there. And then you're going to take Arcane Masua and put him on top. And that's where he's going to go, right next to where it says Abductor Card. You're going to take the other two Abductor cards and put them away. Then you have Major Demand cards. You're going to take all of the cards that belong to Arcane Masua, mix them up, and then grab one at random. Don't flip it up, and then place it face down. And that's what you're going to do for that. Then you're going to take the escape demands and basically do the same exact thing. Okay, there we go. Shuffle it up. Grab one, put it face down, do not reveal it, and you can put the rest of the deck away. Then with the tarot cards, red tarot cards, you're going to shuffle that up as well. Grab 10, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then put these red tarot cards away. And for 6 pivotal cards, you're going to shuffle them about, take one, put it here. I like to put it there. And then you're going to take that tarot deck you made and put it on top of the pivotal event that you just had. You'll put the pivotal event there, and you're almost ready to start the game. The last thing you want to do is get the conversation deck and lay it out just like this. And you want to put it in sort of order from like most expensive to least expensive. So 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 4, 3s, 2s, 1s, and 0s. The bottom right is the cost of the card. These are the results of the card. If you play it, you'll typically roll 2 or 3 dice. And sort of the results of the card. You can also play cards face down to give yourself 1 conversation point, or play 2 cards face down to count and roll as a success. We'll get into that a little more shortly. The one thing you'll want to also do, we're almost completely done with setup, but you want to look at the abductor card, and you'll see here 7 hostages. So you want to go get the hostage pieces, put them in the hostage pool. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then you're going to go here. This is the threat level that the person is set to, which is 4, which is sort of halfway in between. The threat level is basically your way of either losing or saving hostages, and it varies on how many die you roll and stuff. These are conversation points, which you use to spend on cards. So the way the game works is it happens in 3 phases. The first phase is the conversation phase. That's when you're using cards. So you can grab all 0 cards now. They will consist of your hand. And these are all cards you can play. You can play all of them. You can save some, and you can play them one of 2 ways. The typical way I found that is really a good idea first is we want to reveal demands and ideally get some conversation points. So you're going to, I'm playing this face up. You could play it face down in order to get 1 conversation point, but I'm playing it face up. So I'm playing it face up, and I'm going to roll 2 dice. The reason why I know I'm rolling 2 dice is because I look here. If my threat level's at 1 or S, I'm rolling 3 dice. If it's between 2 and 6, I'm rolling 2 dice. If it's at K, I'm rolling 1 dice. Now, these cards can affect threat level and things like that. The results can affect things. So this card here, if you have 2 successes, you're going to gain a conversation point and lower the threat level by 1. If you only get a success, you lower the threat level by 1. If you don't get any successes, you lose a conversation point. This, on the other hand, if you fail and don't roll any successes, you gain a threat level, which sort of sucks. Small talk is interesting because you get points no matter what, but if you have no successes, the conversation ends, which means you cannot play any more cards from your hand. You move on to the next phase, which we'll get into after playing a quick round. So we're doing this. We roll 2 dice. So I'm gonna go ahead, roll 2 dice. And wow, that sort of sucks. I really so what we rolled here is 1, 2s, and 3s are fails. 4s are if I get rid of 2 cards. So I'm gonna get rid of these 2 cards. It counts as a success. And 5 and 6 are instant successes. So I have 1 success and I can reveal a demand or get a conversation point. I'm going to reveal a demand. I'm going to notice major demand. Escape demands typically suck. So I got a supply of weapons, which I got last time too. These cards just sort of keep here, just so you remember, and now you keep going. Now I want to reveal his other demand, because tarot cards, you'll be revealing them after this phase is over and the next phase, but you won't be playing any more cards. If there's a demand on the board, some tarot cards have side effects that will take effect if there's a demand that is not revealed shown. So we're going to roll for what are your demands, and I'm going to have a bad roll. I'm going to have a good roll. Okay, good. So I have 1 success, and I'm going to go ahead and reveal that demand. So the escape demand is the secret passage, which sort of really blows. When the last hostage leaves the hostage pool, make a threat roll. Add 1 die to the roll for each red tarot card still in the tarot deck. If the roll is failed, the abductor escapes. So this is really not a good thing at all. That's really bad. But alas, we'll keep on trucking. Finally, I'm going to go ahead and play these 2 cards well, I'm not seeing the reason to play those 2 cards yet. So those 2 cards are played. The 0 card decks go back here. The conversation phase ends because I've decided it's ended. And do I want to play these? I don't have any conversation points. You know what? I'm gonna play it. You know what? I decided against what I was gonna do originally. Okay, 2 successes. So the threat level gets to go down 1. It's down to 3, and we get a conversation point. So super cool. And now we're gonna do this one. And we got 1 success. So the threat level goes down by 1 again, which is not too shabby. Still rolling 2 die, but you know, we're getting a lot better. We have 1 conversation point, which is also cool. And that's my turn. I've used all my cards. I did not have to use all my cards, but I did. So that ends the conversation phase. The second phase of a round is the shop phase. So if you have any conversation points, you can go and buy cards that are available in the shop. I have 1 conversation point, so I can pick up a what I meant was, which is exactly what I'm going to do. Now, if I didn't pick up anything, it's important to note that conversation points do not stay where they are. After the shop phase is over, it goes back to the blue phone line, which stands for 0. After you've done that, you take the cards that you played for this turn and you put them into the shop, so that next round you can buy them again. So I can buy all of these cards next round, so I'm guaranteed to have 6 cards next round, which is nice. Something of note is that you can only have 10 cards in your hand. You cannot have any more than 10 cards. It's rare apparently to have more than 10 cards, but there's that. Alright, so we've done the shopping phase. We've revealed 2 demands, which is great. Not too bad of a conversation phase at all. We've done our shopping. Not really much shopping to do. Now we reveal a tarot card. So we're going to reveal a tarot card. The situation is worsening. If any round resolved demand was here, we'd have to add 2 to the threat level, but thankfully we did an excellent job revealing both of the demands that the person wanted, so we only get 1. Play is going to proceed like this for all the rounds, so I'm not going to be able to do anything this round. I could put this face down to get 1 conversation point and buy that, I suppose, but there would be no reason to. So I would skip that. The shop phase would happen. I would get 6 cards. 4, 5, 6. So I have a nice deck next hand, and I also reveal a tarot card again. So don't test me occurs here. Roll a die if the result is less than or equal to the current threat level. Kill a hostage. So that symbol stands for killing a hostage. So roll a die equal to... Roll a die. Okay. So we need to get 3 or higher? Lower? Okay, we got a 5. What does that mean? The result is less than or equal to current threat level. Okay, so we needed a 4, 5, or 6, which we did, so hostage doesn't die. Now, the way the game works, so I would use these cards, blah, blah, blah. The threat level would go up or down, depending on what the terror level is and such. When your threat level gets to S, that's a really good place to be. Because when you would lower the threat level anymore, instead of moving the threat level, you instead save hostages. So let's say I was here, right? And I played this card, okay? And I rolled 2 dice, or I rolled 3 dice because the threat level's at S. And we're just gonna pretend that, yes, exactly that. We rolled 2 successes. That would be -2. My threat level's at S, so I get to save 2 hostages. So I get to put 1 hostage there and another hostage there. Now, the way the game works is if you win, you need to save at least half of the hostages. Rounded down? Is that right? At least half of the hostages were saved. That's it. You need to save at least half of the hostages. So in this scenario, you need to save at least 4. Well, 3.5, but I think 4 in essence. So if I were to roll it again, boom, I've saved 4. I'm awesome. And like, you know, everything is great. However, the game is not over after you rescue at least half the hostages, because you also need to have no more hostages in the hostage pool, which means if a hostage or 2 dies, that's great. But also the abductor has to be captured or eliminated, because you don't want this abductor running around and getting more hostages. So let's just pretend we've killed 2 hostages, and let's pretend that we didn't get this crappy escape demand, which makes things a little harder for everybody, but had an escape demand of an armored truck. Okay, so if you concede the armored truck, then the abductor escapes at the end of the conversation. However, this positive effect takes place initially. So everything's going normally, and we saved that last hostage. Now we're in the point where if we were to save another hostage, what ends up happening instead is that the abductor surrenders. So that's the way you capture the abductor and you win. Let's go ahead and go back to here. This sort of gets a little special in that when the last hostages leave, let's say we were at this point and I save a hostage, or I saved 2 hostages. I believe what would happen is they're not in the pool due to following when a hostage would be killed. Oh, non-pivotal into the discard pile with no effect. Oh, so that's also interesting, something of note. But yeah, so I believe what would happen here is this would immediately take effect instead of the hostage being captured, and you would have to roll, make a threat roll, add 1 die for each red terror card still in the terror deck. So if we had 9, which is sort of impossible, we'd get to roll a 5, and we would need to roll a success. So I think you would be able to still make it too. So it seems like a 50-50 chance. It's not as terrible. However, there's a couple other things of note really that I can think of off the top of my head. Basically, that's more or less the game. Once the person is captured, you win. However, something here that you might want to do is there's a lot of different cards, so I think I've gone through most of them, but just to make sure, this makes it so until the conversations end, if you have 2 successes, all the 4 results are basically successes. If you have 1 success on this when you play it, all the 4s become 1 success for the next threat roll only. And threat roll is whenever you play a card, so it's both when a terror causes you to do it or an event causes you to do it, and blah blah blah. What I meant was when you play this after any threat roll to re-roll the die. Most of the cards are pretty self-explanatory. You have the bottom text, which just sort of shows what the hostage is saying, which is pretty cool. Again, that X on the bottom means if you fail, the conversation ends. So the conversation phase ends if this fails. The threat level would go up by 1, and you can no longer play any cards for that round. So you would enter the shopping phase, and then you would enter the terror phase, and then back to the conversation phase. This one is that you would save 2 hostages and with a minor extraction. If you have 2 successes, you save 2 hostages. If you have 1 success, you save 1 hostage, but you also increase the threat level by 1. And if you fail, you lose a hostage and the conversation ends. Then we have these, which the empty promise adds dice. That's why there's plus die. So if you have 2 successes, you get 2 conversation points plus 2 dice for your next threat roll. You can have a maximum of 5, I believe. 1 success gives you 2 dice for your next threat roll. There's no success, loses it 1 dice for your next threat roll, and you lose a hostage. Bold lie is a good way to attempt to calm the abductor. This one makes it so you can have more dice to have and until the conversation ends, which is really nice. Major extraction is basically you're trying to save hostages. Sniper take the shot, and all units getting in there now are ways to eliminate the abductor. So sniper take the shot. If you win, the abductor is eliminated, and 2 hostages are rescued, and the conversation ends. Now, if you kill the abductor, that's not the end of the game. So let's just pretend we played the sniper take the shot, and we had 1 success. So the conversation ended. Let's pretend there's 1 hostage left. The abductor was eliminated, though. We've now fulfilled our role in that the abductor was captured or eliminated. We have at least half of the hostages saved, but we still have hostages in the hostage pool. So we have a second in command, basically, that takes over. He's a devoted follower of the abductor. Is ready to step in and continue negotiating if the abductor is eliminated. Second in command has little patience and will kill a hostage the moment he doesn't like what he hears. When no hostage remain, the second in command, scared for his life, will surrender immediately. So second in command, special rules, replace the abductor card if the abductor and hostages still remain in the hostage pool. Kill a hostage per threat level increase, but will never kill the last hostage in the pool. The second in command may not be eliminated. He surrenders immediately when there are no hostages in the hostage pool. So here you need to rescue that final hostage before the second in command surrenders. And once he surrenders, the game ends. So that is your ways of victory. The ways you lose immediately is if any one of the following occurs. And so the way you would lose to a second in command in this scenario is if you were not able to rescue that hostage for however many turns lasted. So you keep going through the tarot cards, you keep going through, and you cannot, get the victory. Something also of note is that the tarot cards roll a die to the pool. Oh wow, you've taken more hostages. That sort of blows. That's funny. Oh man, that's terrible. Okay. A moment of weakness is typically a moment of weakness means you get a hostage is saved. However, something of note is if it's in the terror phase, so we'll go back here, Arcane Masua. So a hostage is saved, and let's pretend there were no hostages in the hostage pool. Arcane does not surrender at this point. Obviously, the escape event would have to be different. We're going to ignore that. But if a terror card releases a hostage that would cause the abductor to surrender, it's basically ignored. The abductor does not surrender on the terror phase. So we're playing all these cards, right? We've gone through all 10 cards. We finally hit the terror pivotal event card. So you reveal that, and I get to the point already again. So the shit's gotten serious. If when the pivotal event card is revealed, basically you're on your final turn, because if you're unable to draw a terror card during the terror phase, you lose immediately. So you would start in the card phase, the conversation phase, but when you're on the pivotal phase here, this is where the rules change a little bit, in that while you're conversing, you can buy cards from the shop. Now you can't use a card, roll the dice, use the card, and then put it back in the shop. You can't like keep going back and forth like that. However, you know, any cards, if you had any zeros in the deck that you just placed in there on the second to last turn, during the last turn where the pivotal event takes place, you can, you know, you can buy those cards back, use cards up, buy another card, and use that right away. It's basically sort of your last ditch effort. Once you hit the spend phase, the game's basically over because you're not able to do anything to get the hostage or get the abductor, and or rescue the remaining hostages that you need to basically put the thing to a conclusion. So when you go to draw the tarot card again, you lose because there's no more tarot phases left. So you're always going to have 11 rounds at most. And my game actually came down to the pivotal event, but I was looking good and was able to rescue him. Anyway, yeah, that's Hostage Negotiator in a nutshell. Hope you enjoyed. If you'd like to see any other games, please do let me know. I do happily take any and all feedback. You guys have an excellent one. Hope this was helpful, and ciao. This is Silver Bullet 99 signing out.